Hello everybody and welcome back to Our Life Beginnings and Always. Today we're going to be doing day 3 of planning for our wedding. But before we get started, I want to thank all 106 of my subscribers. I got 106 subscribers now. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. If you really want to show some appreciation and do some good for the community, charities that need the funds, please join my Patreon account and become a Patreon contributor. All the funds that go in there go directly to charity. This is why I make these videos, to possibly raise money through Patreon so that the money would go directly to charity. Like I said, I don't see a penny of it. It doesn't come to me at all. It just goes directly to charity. And for those of you who want to receive any uncensored videos that I record, and I put them on my flash drive, you can go to either join the $9 tier or $25 tier of my Patreon. Both those two tiers are set up for adult content. Once you become a Patreon contributing member on either one of those, you can go to the comment section and comment what videos you'd like to receive, and post your email address so that I can send you the copies via email. So let's get started here. Let's go ahead and go full screen here. Okay. And load. Here we are. Get my keyboard out. Ouch! Damn it. Wow. That was not so good. Okay. Okay. Skip to computer. Go to full screen. There we go. I was an accident trying to pull up the keyboard and I probably hit some buttons. Alright, drink some water here real quick. After having settled down, as the process had gone on, Cove's nerves had shot back to their initial appointment levels. Greetings were exchanged, and Baxter didn't leave a space open for Cove to get lost in. Your planner went right to the point. What shall we be doing today? How about let's design a cake now, Cove? Baxter nodded his head, confirming that he'd registered your choice beside you. Cove's excitement had bubbled over. He was bouncing on his seat, too eager to restrain himself.
Yeah!
Good idea, Chippy. I'm definitely ready to plan treats. His open enthusiasm tickled you. Excitedly an adoring chuckle that slipped out across the table. Baxter joined you with a soft laugh of his own. Meanwhile, Cove seemed obvious to your amusement. You figured he was too lost in imagining delicious cakes to notice what was happening around him. Oh, what's going on? What you needed now was for someone to turn those dreams into reality. The agency had worked with suppliers of all kinds, so Baxter had a list of bakeries that they recommended for weddings. You and Cove had a few personal favorites too. Together you reviewed the websites for all potential bakeries. Baxter had a wealth of handy tips of what to keep in mind when it came specifically to commissioning wedding cakes for you to take into consideration. Sorry. The three of you whittled away the options until you finally settled on one you wanted. With that decided, Baxter contacted them to arrange a meeting so you could select flavors and discuss design ideas before working out particularities. Okay. Trying to pronounce these words. Sorry about that. He easily secured a time that worked perfectly for both you and Cove. That brought you to the end of the meeting. The decision of which bakery to choose, the scheduling, briefing them on your basic requirements, had taken up all the remaining time you had with Baxter for today. The three of you rose from your seats, one after the other.
Goodbye for today.
It's been great to see you. Yeah, I can't believe next time we see you, we'll have our wedding cake picked out. Yeah, unless the bakery cancels on us. Yeah, let's not jinx it, okay? Let's not do that. Cole's face fell. His horrified expression broke your composure, making you snort with laughter. Kidding, I'm sure that won't happen. We'll get to have our cake session, Cove. Of course. I'm sure you'll have a great time together. I look forward to hearing what you decide on. Though I won't be there in person, you can always text me if you want advice during the process. Okay. I'm just going to go with the first one. Thank you. It was reassuring to know that Baxter would be able to guide you If you got stuck you doubted that would happen. He waved goodbye as you and Cove left the office for the day. Here we are at the bakery, I guess. The light tinkering of a bell over the door announced your arrival as you and Cove stepped inside, where you were immediately welcomed by a pleasant raft of sweet scents. The bakery was a delight for the senses. Even before you'd taken a single bite, decked out in a pretty shade of pink, it was impossible to miss. Cove closed his eyes and inhaled deeply. There was a soft air of cakes and pastries baking in the oven, tingled with warm spices like cinnamon and nutmeg. Give me a minute here. Excuse me. The display case was full of the daily selection of mouth-watering delicacies, neatly lined up and ready to be taken away. The selection ranged from intricate specialty cakes to more rustic, homey brownies and cupcakes. Usually, those kinds of treats would be everything you needed, but today was a special visit. You were entirely focused on the even better desserts waiting for you on the horizon. You could tell Cove shared your feelings. He waited beside you with every outward appearance of patience, but you could tell his anticipation by the way he kept a close watch on the kitchen door as you waited for an employee to come greet you. This uncharacteristic restraint was a stark contrast to any other time he'd visited a bakery, where he'd have rushed over to the display case and immediately began picking out cakes to take home. As he shifted from one foot to the other, you knew he was fighting to hold back those usual urges. Luckily, his self-control wasn't tested for long. Soon the door to the kitchen swung open and a friendly-looking face emerged. Spotting you and Cove, the person smiled and began heading over. Excuse me. As they approached, you saw that the name on the tag was Xavier. A little purple button pinned on the strap of their apron with the words they, them printed in black letters. Okay, so it's somebody who's non-binary. Okay. Xavier walked right up to you and gave you a welcome so warm you could have sworn it had come fresh from the oven. Hello. Thanks for coming by Zake. It's is there anything I can get for you? Hi, Cove paused, pointing first at himself, then at you as he spoke. We're Cove and Chippy. We've got an appointment here. His voice, which had started out measured and even became hushed as the thrill of what you were here to do started to get to Cove. When he resumed speaking, it broke further still, devolving into a rushed whisper that Xavier needed to lean in to catch. It's to plan our wedding cake. We're getting married. I'm going to go with the third one. Thank you for making time for us. Xavier's eyes lit up at the introduction. Of course. Welcome, Chippy and Cove, our two grooms. Cove preened over ever so slightly at those last words, his chin jutting out with confidence. I'm Xavier, the head cake artist here. We're so happy to be working with you for such an important event. You can take some seats right there in front and we can start talking options. They gestured to a nearby table. You and Cove obliged, taking your seats. As you sat down, your stomach somersaulted. You were really here to pick out a wedding cake. The cake that would be served at your wedding. It hadn't quite sunk in before, but being invited to begin had made it feel more official. But knowing that you weren't alone in the feeling that way confronted you, and you grinned at the love of your life. Cove beamed back at you. The baker had taken a detour over to the back shelf where they picked up a binder before coming to stand before you at the table. I went over the info our baking assistant took when the appointment was arranged, so we can dive right into things. So let's get to it. Starting with the size of the cake. How big do you want to go? We can go as big as 5 tiers high.
Maybe.
2 or 3 maybe. Isn't that a bit much? I don't know if that's enough. I mean, we're gonna have. I mean, I know we have a small. I wouldn't say small guest, but I think more than 3, at least 4 tiers. Cove tilted his head to the side. He looked to you for input. This one be alright. No, one's not enough. Two, no. Yeah, let's go 4. Would 4 be okay instead? Yeah, definitely. He grinned conspiratedly. I'm not going to complain about having more. Yeah, considering we do have quite a bit of a guest list, so 4 should be enough, I think. 4 tier. Seeing as you'd reached a conclusion, Xavier noted it down in the binder. A 4 tier cake it is. They glanced up from the binder, smiling. That gives us a lot to work with. In terms of decorating, is there any kind of decoration you'd want us to aim for in the overall style? Excuse me. Cove pursed his lips, stumped by the question. Artistic vision had never been his strong suit. Though you'd reviewed ideas for our decorations and color schemes together, asking Cove to distill those visions and themes into words was doomed to failure. You took it from there and said, I think floral. Yeah. Cove sighed, relieved, and expressed his approval.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. We can work with that for sure. Any color ranges in mind? Again, Cove fell silent, like a kid hoping not to be called on in the classroom. Even though it was just the 3 of you, he had no chance of hiding. You could swear that he was shrinking lower in his seat, as if hoping to go unnoticed. As entertaining as that was, you decided to spare Cove before he slipped under the table. You spoke up and said, How about rainbow? Yeah, let's go rainbow. Gorgeous. I've got you. Xavier looked up from the binder. Right. So we're going for a 4-tier rainbow cake that's floral. You could picture it now. It was going to be perfect. Yep. That fantastic combo is definitely our cake. Cove, who was staring at you like you saved him from a life or death situation rather than answering a couple of simple questions in a pleasant bakery, gave you a thumbs up. Xavier watched you both with a smile. Oh, by the way, I was just thinking, I don't know how many days of planning they have for this wedding, but we'll get through it. We'll get through it. And then we'll be on the ceremony. To the ceremony eventually. Also, I wanted to let you guys know, in this, they give you an option of choosing different options for your vows. They have like various choices, or you can make your own. I'm thinking about making my own. I'll probably write it out on paper first, so I have an idea of what to type out when it comes time to doing that. Just to let you know, this cake is really shaping up. Time for the fun part. I'll be right back. They got up and made their way into the kitchen. The fun part? Cove echoed the words, puzzled but intrigued. He peered after Xavier, trying to catch a glimpse of the magic happening behind the closed doors. Craning his neck didn't grant Cove X-ray vision, but that was just fine, as you weren't kept in suspense for long. Xavier quickly returned with a large covered serving tray. Cove grasped, his fingers curling with anticipation. Careful, coming through. They lowered the heavy platter onto the table, where it clattered against the hard surface as it settled. Oh my. Are these just snacks or something? Interesting. Xavier lifted the cover to reveal several plates of little cake slices with mounds of different frosting and filling flavors. The beautiful array of the selection made for a wonderfully present array of treats. Cove gasped, wowed by the revelation. Oh! We get to try samples. Xavier giggled at Cove's reaction. Given just how much enthusiasm Cove had, you bet there weren't many previous grooms whose response could compare. You do. They pointed at the tray and began talking you through the selection, starting with the neat little slices of cake. So, we've got a few cake flavors for you today. Vanilla, chocolate, red velvet, citrus, and such. They moved over to the frosting and fillings. There's vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, maple, mocha, buttercream over here. We've got chocolate, chocolatey, and fruity fillings, though through the inside can simply contain more frosting if you'd prefer. Having talked you through the samples, they straightened up. These are some of our most popular options, but not everything. You can see all your options on the order forms. As they talked, they looked out They took out 2 copies of their order sheet and presented you with one each. All of the possibilities for each element of the cake were laid out before you. That's everything. You're welcome to eat whatever looks appealing, or you can have everything on the platter if you got a stomach for it. Cove's eyes sprinkled with anticipation. Knowing Cove, you suspected that he intended to take Xavier up on the offer to sample everything. He picked up the fork and began systematically working through the platter. He took scoops out of the cake, frosting, and filling options in turn, moving left to right from top to bottom. You chuckled softly, amused that your hunch had been correct. Yeah, let him have his sweets. Let him try it. Though Cove was eventually intent on eating a bit of everything, you noted that he was careful to leave at least half of each sample in case you wanted it too. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we'll try everything. Why not? You start trying everything as well. It all looked delicious. Picking up a fork, you joined Cove in sampling the cake's frosting and fillings on offer. You murmured your delight to each other as you discovered new combinations and enjoyed the sheer variety laid out before you. Cove's eyes swung as he looked at you, guided to be sharing the experience. You were so enraptured. I think that's the word for it. Enraptured. That you nearly forgot that you weren't alone with Cove, but this was by design. The baker stood by, approvingly careful not to do anything that might interrupt your enjoyment. Let's do this one. Let's do the first one. You held up your fork to feed a piece to Cove. Cove spotted the poised fork in front of him, laden with cake. You knew your intentions had been understood as a blush spread over his cheeks. Even now, it was criminally easy to make him embarrassed. Still, he leaned in and opened his mouth to accept the offering. You brought the fork to his lips, and he happily ate the treat. Thanks, Trippy. He held up his fork, his own fork, where the bite had been about to take was waiting for you. You lean in to be fed. Cove's eyes glittered, happy to reciprocate. You bit down around his fork. The cake seemed sweeter when it was being fed to you like this. Cove shimmied happily in his seat. The different varieties had gone down very well with him. They're all so good. He cracked a grin. Hey, could we get a tier for every flavor? Xavier laughed. Unfortunately, we can't. At least not in a simple cake. And I'm guessing you don't want several different cakes for your wedding. Yeah, we should just go with one. Go with the one. Okay. I think number 2, we're definitely ready to get our own cake after having the samples. The generous samples, along with your trusty taster Cove, had helped you clarify what you wanted. Now that you and Cove were experts in the bakery's cakes, it was time to figure out the details. We can do the cake in all one flavor, top to bottom, or let you choose 2 sets of different flavors. What works for you? I think one flavor for the entire cake makes most sense. Yeah, let's do that. Cove lifted himself up off the chair briefly to switch his position. He moved over from leaning forwards towards the tray and shifted to be situated on the side of the chair facing you. Get some water here.
So,
what's your thoughts? You don't need to stick it to. You don't need to stick it. You don't need to stick to it forever. But where here? What? But where are you thinking something kind of plain, chocolatey, fruity, or what? You picked up a copy of the form to review your options again. After studying it carefully, you said, I think chocolatey for the cake. Okay. He rested his chin on his hand as he started thoroughly into the distance. A smile drifted across his face as he pictured the possibilities for your cake. What about something like a marbled cake with milk chocolate crunchy on the inside and peanut butter buttercream on the outside? That actually sounds good. Yeah, let's definitely go with that. That sounds wonderful. Let's go with that for the cake. Cove straightened up at your words of approval, amazed that his idea had been helpful. The baker jotted it down. Thanks, Cove. That's a good choice. I'm good with that. Cake. I'm good with that. Cake flavors are sorted. Then your mouth-watering cake flavors were all set. You were sure it was going to be a hit at the wedding. The inside of the cake was great. All that left was the cover. How would you wrap your baby up? Do you like fondant or maybe garnish? Is that how it's pronounced? Garnish? Cove shrugged. You said, oh, ganache. That's how it's pronounced. Okay. Alright, yeah, the third one. Buttercream covered in ganache. Got it, almost done. They scribbled it down in the binder. Funny, what elements would you like me to include in the design and presentation of the cake? Double groom cake topper. Let's see. Fresh flowers. Okay. And I think that's everything. Nice and straightforward. I like it. Awesome. We've got ourselves a cake plan. The baker's words made it official. You picked your wedding cake. You couldn't help being especially thrilled about that. The wedding cake was such a focal part of the party. It would be featured in photographs and shared among your family and friends. Into a beautiful confection. Just thinking about it left you breathless. You glanced at Cove out of the corner of your eye, wondering if he was feeling as excited as you were. He was leaning forward, in his seat, wrap expression on his face. As Xavier continued speaking, you pulled yourself back up to the present. I'll take all the info you've given us today and use it to think up the finished design. I'll keep you in the loop on how it's going. Though before we go, are you wanting any other dessert on the side? Maybe cupcakes or cookies? Or we could do something else if there's anything specific you have in mind. Yeah, he likes cinnamon rolls. Let's get him cinnamon rolls. Cove likes cinnamon rolls, so let's do the cinnamon rolls. Are cinnamon rolls doable? Oh yes, that'd be delicious. Unexpected, but not impossible. We can make you some cinnamon rolls. Your own personal cinnamon roll, beamed with delight. The three of you talked over the details of your additional dessert. Xavier strictly guided you through it all, determined everything from your preferences for flavor and texture to the quality you needed. Eventually, it was all set up. Xavier reviewed their notes in the binder. So, you're getting a 4-tier cake with floral kind of feel that's chocolatey. And you're also getting some cinnamon rolls along with it. Your heart fluttered as you imagined the cake once again. You and Cove standing over it and ready to take the first cut. The side dessert beautifully complemented the cake, completing the picture perfectly. Yeah, those are our desserts. Cove bounced on in his chair again, his hands clasped against the edge of the table. His excitement was as palpable as your own. This is going to be good. This is going to be so good. Xavier grinned, pleased to see the two of you so happy. Thanks again for coming to us for your wedding. We'll make the desserts for your dreams. Of your dreams. Excuse me. You worked through the outstanding specifics of your order with Xavier, who was determined to get everything right for your big day, and had an answer ready for everything you could throw at them. Once the final arrangements had been confirmed, you left the bakery feeling confident that your wedding cake was going to be just wonderful. Cove naturally shared your optimism completely. And that's it. That's it for day number 3. So, don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And thank you for watching on my YouTube channel. Also, don't forget to check out my Patreon account and please become a Patreon contributor. You would be doing some good for the community. I mean, it's good karma. You be helping out the community of charities that need the funds so badly. And I would be ever so grateful. And I would announce your name at the end of every video that I make, showing appreciation for becoming a Patreon contributor and helping out the community of charities that need the funds. And you can find the link to my Patreon within the description area just below the video. So, I'm going to go ahead and save this first. There we go, saved it. And I'll see you guys later.